Nobody expected to see a Super Mario game in Toy Story 5, or a Frozen character appearing in Moana, but believe it or not, they are there, hidden in plain sight. In one scene from Toy Story 5, several games appear on Lilypad's screen. At first glance, it seems like all of them were invented for the movie, but hold on a second. If we pay close attention, we can see that one of those games is about colorful turtles. And which gaming franchise is known for having lots of turtles? That's right, Super Mario. You may be wondering why the plumber himself is not on the game's screen, but we have to remember that Pixar likes to be very subtle with its Easter eggs, so it probably did not want to make this reference too obvious. It is almost as if this game were a spin-off focused on the Koopas, Mario's main enemies. Now, the surprise appearance in Moana is on a completely different level because a Frozen character actually appears in the flesh in this movie. When the demigod Maui gets his magical fish hook back and starts transforming into several different animals, he turns into a reindeer. And not just any reindeer, but Sven, Kristoff's reindeer, who is always stealing the show in Frozen. Does this mean Maui can transform into any Disney animal? We cannot say for sure, but we can definitely tell you about all the games and movies that appear in cartoons without you ever noticing. The moment has come. Let's enjoy another Cinewave together. Sonic was born in the world of video games and went on to star in several incredible movies, but it was in Disney's Wreck-It Ralph that he officially appeared in a feature film for the first time, long before the Hedgehog got his own solo movie. This film takes place inside the world of video games, so it makes perfect sense that Sonic appeared here. At this point, you can tell that Disney and Pixar love referencing Mario and Sonic, which is funny considering that the two of them are rivals in the gaming world. Another character who showed up in Wreck-It Ralph was none other than the fastest hedgehog in the world's greatest enemy, Dr. Eggman. He appears among several other video game bosses during the supervillain support group meeting. Keep in mind that this movie was released many years before Jim Carrey stole the show playing Eggman in the Sonic movies. We are still going to talk about other video game characters who appear in Wreck-It Ralph, but before that, Sven's surprise appearance in Moana was short and funny, but what about Olaf's appearance in the movie? His is much more disturbing because everything suggests that Olaf died. When Moana opens the food storage compartment on her boat, we see several different kinds of food, and so far everything seems fine. But when we pause the scene and look at the food for a few more seconds, everything becomes much more sinister because there is a carrot and a few sticks mixed in with it. If it were only a carrot, that would be fine, but the sticks have the exact same shape as Olaf's little arms. In other words, those things are his remains. A snowman traveling to a sunny island was definitely not a good idea. Another very disturbing appearance involves Sid, the bully from Toy Story, who simply shows up as a ghost in Coco. And we are not even joking. During the musical competition held among the spirits, a skeleton appears wearing a black shirt with a skull right in the middle of it. And guess who is known for wearing a black shirt with a skull on it? Sid. His last appearance while he was still alive was in Toy Story 3, when he was working as a garbage collector. It seems like Sid simply passed away between one movie and the next without any explanation. Did he get into a car accident while working, or did something even worse happen? Or is this ghost just another guy who likes the same shirt as Sid? That is possible, but things are rarely coincidences in Pixar movies. Another example of something that seems far too suspicious to be a coincidence can be found in the list of games shown on Lilypad's screen. Besides the game that looks a lot like Super Mario, there is also one that is almost identical to Candy Crush. Don't believe it? Then let's take a look at the screen of this fictional game and compare it with Candy Crush. Both games show shiny objects grouped together inside a square. The only difference is that while those shiny objects are candies in Candy Crush, they are crystals in Lilypad's version. So much so that the game is called Crystal. Pixar did not make it completely identical, but we can agree that this was a very intentional reference. But tell us something. Do you prefer movies or video games? Leave a comment below saying #movies or #video games so we can find out. How about we talk a little about Jessie from Toy Story? She had a much bigger role in the new movie, but she can also be seen in Monsters, Inc., another incredible Pixar animated film. If we take a look inside Boo's bedroom, all we need to do is pause the movie and look very closely to notice that one of the little girl's dolls is Jessie. And if you manage to notice that without even pausing the movie, you have my sincerest congratulations. Jessie really is a doll, and there are others just like her scattered around the world. So it makes perfect sense sense to find a Jessie doll in Boo's bedroom. But we can take this even further. After all, Boo herself also seems to exist in the world of the toys. In Toy Story 4, a little girl with the same hairstyle and the same clothes as Boo is seen at two different moments. In one of them, she is at a carnival. In the other, the little girl is at the school Bonnie attends. So yes, Bonnie and Boo go to school together. This practically confirms that Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. take place in the same universe. Of course, it could simply be a reference, but it is too much of a coincidence for both franchises to reference each other like this. By the way, Boo loves collecting toys based on Pixar characters because she also has a stuffed toy of Nemo, the little fish from Finding Nemo. Should we tell Marlin, Nemo's father, that his missing son was inside Boo's bedroom this entire time? Monsters, Inc. was actually released 2 years before Finding Nemo because Pixar loves adding references to movies that are still being made to give us a little taste of what is coming next. Would you believe us if we told you that even Bluey has featured a character from a completely different franchise? And this time, we are talking about Sans, the skeleton from the game Undertale. Pretty unexpected, right? He appears in the episode Sleepover as a stuffed toy that looks identical to the real Sans. Can we assume that Bluey and Bingo are Undertale fans? Maybe they watched a video of someone playing it on YouTube. Now that we are talking about games again, do you know about the time Mario appeared in the amazing world of Gumball? It happened in the episode The Uncle, when Gumball discovered that his friend 8 has an uncle named Mario. Gumball believed that he was talking about Super Mario himself, since 8 also has a video game theme. So he was very disappointed when he discovered that this Uncle Mario was an ugly and boring version of the famous mustached plumber. It may not have happened exactly the way we imagined, but the reference is still there. Speaking of the plumber, Bowser himself also had the opportunity to appear in an animated movie that is not part of the Super Mario franchise. And yes, this special appearance happened in Wreck-It Ralph. Just like Eggman, the King of the Koopas was present at the supervillain support group meeting, and that is hilarious. The version of Bowser from Illumination's Super Mario movies could definitely use a support group like that too. Do not assume that Boo and Bonnie are the only two girls from completely different Pixar franchises who attend the same school, because it looks like Riley from Inside Out goes to the same school as May from Turning Red. In Turning Red, this can be noticed during the scene where May runs through the school and knocks a girl over. Okay, now it is time to pause the movie and take a good look at the girl who was knocked down. Look at that, she really does look identical to Riley from Inside Out. Thinking about it that way, it would be incredible to see a movie about May and Riley interacting with each other and becoming friends. You know what would be awesome? Subscribing right now and getting all our videos straight on YouTube. It is funny to think about, but one of the characters who has appeared in the most Pixar movies is not a person at all, but the Pizza Planet truck, which can be seen in almost every Pixar animated film. And before you say that a car cannot be a person, it is worth remembering that this truck even appeared in Cars, where all the vehicles have lives of their own, including it. In that universe, the Pizza Planet truck is named Todd. This vehicle also makes a very subtle appearance in Incredibles 2, during the scene where Elastigirl fights Screenslaver. It is one of those scenes that is so exciting that we do not really pay attention to all the little details. But now you can see that the Pizza Planet truck is parked right in the corner of that alley. Did you only notice it now that you are here with us? Or did you manage to spot this detail while watching the movie? Of course, characters from The Incredibles also show up in other animated movies, like Mr. Incredible, who can be seen in Finding Nemo. In the dentist's office shown in that movie, there is a boy reading a comic book. Do you already know where we are going with this? The person on the cover of that comic is none other than Mr. Incredible himself. It makes perfect sense to find Pixar's most powerful superhero on the cover of a comic book. We had already talked about several video game characters who appeared in Wreck-It Ralph, but believe it or not, they were not the only ones. Ryu, the most famous fighter from Street Fighter, also appears, and in different situations. First, Ryu is seen inside his own game, but we also see his real-life version together with Ken, who has always been his best friend. Even Pac-Man made an appearance in this movie, and many people do not even remember it. At Fix-It Felix Jr.'s 30th anniversary party, Pac-Man does what he was born to do: eat. But instead of ghosts, he is devouring shrimp cocktails. The first Despicable Me also includes a reference to the world of video games, although it is very different from the ones we have mentioned so far. Vector, Gru's enemy, is shown playing on a Nintendo Wii, which is not very popular nowadays, but was extremely famous in 2010 when this movie was released. It is kind of funny that they chose the movie's villain to play on this console, because that does not seem like very good advertising. Then again, Gru himself is also a villain, so Illumination did not have many options. We've prepared 2 videos you're going to love. Pick one and keep having fun here with Teen Videos.